Hello everyone! Welcome to another Before Coffee, and it's time for me to call Roger because as usual we have to do a wake-up call for him because it's 6 a.m. in the morning where he is. Let's go ahead and head that out. I think we will just do Facebook because that seems to always work. Up. We find our Facebook is good.
Oh,
Hello,
you are?
I'm here.
I'm not hearing you. Oh,
Hello.
how come you're not on,
Oh, I thought I
oh,
was. No, I am on Discord.
did I hit the
Wrong room.
mute button or something?
Here we go.
Because getting up a second time is ridiculous. I probably wouldn't have made it. So it said, All right, you ready for headlines?
No.
I'm
Can
good.
you move your camera a little to the right because you're pulling off this one?
Nuts, I gotta move everything. The other way. My other way. My military
Yeah,
right.
The other direction. Oh no, you're still a little off.
I was moving so I could be.
You're gonna sit like that? Okay.
I sit like this, man. I'm an angler. Well, I'm done wrestling my camera.
Okay. I found my 3 stories. Ready?
Yes.
Hello. Today on Before Coffee. Court prohibits ethnic profiling of military police during checks.
All our times have come. Here, but now they're gone. Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind, the sun, and the rain. We can be like they are. Come on, baby. Don't fear the reaper.
And then we have recession averted. The Dutch economy is still growing considerably.
Ooh. Valentine is done. Here, but now they're gone. Romeo and Juliet are together in eternity. 40,000 men and women every day. 40,000 men and women every day. Another 40,000 coming every day. Come on, baby. We can be like they are. Don't fear the reaper. Well, this is Valentine's. Anyway, sorry.
Wait, how long is this headline?
Like a headline.
Okay. Iran releases award-winning film director Rasulov.
Sweet. U.S. inflation slows for the 7th straight month. That and more. And extra bonus footage, bonus music from Blue Oyster Cult. I have to count inside my head, assuming my head.
For my first story. The Royal Netherlands. I can never say this word. The Royal Netherlands Marseille French is no longer allowed to check people based on their skin color. The court in The Hague has ruled. They finally got to the racial rights here in the Netherlands. This concerns primarily the MTV checks or mobile security supervision, which checks air passengers, train passengers, and road users from countries within the European Union. This was specifically co-initiated by Mabanzu Balmenga from Eindhoven when he was picked out of a queue of thousands of people in 2020. Quoted, "Everyone was allowed to walk through, but I was taken out of line."
Yeah.
They had argued that the principle of the police does not use skin color or race in reasons to check someone, but this may be relevant. For example, if many migrants come from a certain country, they can be stopped at the stops.
But yeah, it's facial recognition, and probably that's just one of the things they use, right? Did they arrest the guy or did he just detain?
I believe it says here he was just picked, right? So he was in a queue and they're like, "Hey, we need to ask you questions," and that's about all that happened. There was no detaining. It was just like, why is my day stopped, right? I'm just in a queue going through the, border control or whatever. Why is my day stopped? Why am I missing my flight? Because I happen to be darker than everyone. I think that it was just an annoyance. It looks like in the
It was inconvenient.
there's a video I could watch to figure it out, but I don't want to watch a 1-minute video, but something like this, along the lines of this, happened.
In the U.S., a gunman opened fire at Michigan State University because that's our new sport. Killing 3 people and wounding 5, setting off an hour-long manhunt. Frightened students, the shooter eventually killed himself, which he should have done in the first place. Well,
Yes, it's very hard to hear. It's very sad to hear about yet another shooting in America over personal problems.
we don't even know what it's over.
Seems to be the only solution is to use a gun to solve them. It's really a hard reflection on the culture of America, not just simply gun rights, but also that when people have difficulties, one of the many solutions you can come up with is just shoot the people that cause me harm. That will solve it. In
Nobody
most cases, it doesn't. I think in a lot of cases it's about retribution more than it is about justice, right?
And they don't want to solve a problem anyway. Because, no, they don't. They want somebody to blame. Solving a problem is not something we do anymore. We just blame other people and go, yeah, we figured it out. So those people gotta go. And then we just never ever approach solutions. Your news story. I'm getting a delay here. That's why I keep doing that.
All right, now.
Done talking.
Yeah, I got it. In other news, recession averted. The Dutch economy grew quite well in the fourth quarter by 0.6% compared to the third quarter. That is better than expected because a little bit of contraction was expected since the economy had slowed down a quarter earlier. Compared to a year growth is at 3%, and the Dutch economy has specifically performed better than Belgium and Germany. The government also spent more money. More money was invested in homes, buildings, infrastructure, according to the Statistics Netherlands. And foreign trade contributed significantly, with exports rising to 2.4% and imports by 2.2%. Everything is more on the balance. For the whole of 2022, economic growth will amount to a very solid 4.5% growth, the second highest growth of the century, slightly less than in the Corona recovery year of 2021. What do you think about that? I know you also have news about the economy.
How was inflation there?
Inflation doesn't really talk about the inflation. It just talks about the growth specifically. So I have no idea what the actual inflation is. I do have 2 charts I can describe to you, which are.
What?
I have two charts I can describe to you. One is the financial crisis in 2008, where it dropped to negative 4%. Then from there to the Euro crisis, which was when Greece joined the EU and the Euro collapsed. That's not as bad as 2008. It was about I would go 0.6%, 0.7% of a drop in growth. The Corona crisis, on the other hand, was a 7.9% diminishing in growth, or whatever word you want to say, the not growth, the anti-growth. So, but since it was -7 and now we're at -6 right after, it's a nice balance back to normal from the collapse that was previously seen.
Looking at inflation rates of selected countries here, I have the lowest is China, which is kind of a joke. They're not a free market. But United States is 6.5 and Netherlands is 7.6.
Yeah, so it's basically reached the exact same as
they're
by 1%. I guess in economics, 1% is a lot, not a little.
It's a big difference. It's not that close, I think. 7.6 and 6.5 may not be even heading in the right direction. We don't even know. You said the economy's heating up, and that's usually a sign of inflation, right? Because you create shortages when people buy stuff and they have more money. Anyway, that's the economic news and U.S. news. U-Haul drivers New York City rampage leaves 1 dead, 8 hurt. A man driving a U-Haul truck swerved into sidewalks and plowed into cyclists and scooter riders in New York City on Monday, killing 1 person, injuring 8 others, before police were able to pin the careening vehicle against the building, following a miles-long pursuit through Brooklyn. The driver was arrested and taken into police custody. His son identified him as Wang Sor, 62, a troubled man. I love a troubled man. I guess. With a history of harmful behaviors and stints behind bars. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, stints behind bars. Got it. Okay. Meaning a stay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a weird sentence.
Yet
so
does it explain exactly why they drove through people, or it was just saying that he was under the influence?
And he's nuts. He says that a troubled man with a history of harmful behaviors stood behind him. He's just nuts, okay? Nuts. So too bad people have to pay for the stupid nuts people in the world who just one day they lose their shit. Happening all the time. This guy didn't use a gun though. He used a U-Haul.
A bit heavier, but yeah, it sounds like it has the same amount of casualties still, which was 3 for both of the situations.
Well, with a vehicle, you can't reload, but you can get many people at once. A gun you can reload any number of times. That's the difference. I mean, a car, once it's crashed, it's not going to be killing anybody. A couple of flat tires and you're not doing any damage. Next story.
On my final important front page news, not really front page, but award-winning Iranian film Mohammad Rasulov has been released from prison. Rasulov is known for the award-winning film There Is No Evil, and he was detained since July. He's arrested for criticizing the government's crackdown on protests on social media. Protests against the Iranian regime have only increased since then, and although they have died down somewhat as a result of the harsh repression, human rights groups say more than 20,000 people have been detained in recent months, including prominent athletes, people from the cultural world, and then more than 500 demonstrators had been killed. Rasulov often came into contact with the Iranian judiciary. In 2010, he was already convicted of filming without a permit, and in 2017, his passport was confiscated and he was banned from work and travel. Despite this, Rasulov managed to keep making his films. Where There Is No Evil, he won the Golden Bear at the Berlin Film Festival, and although he was unable to pay the prize due to his travel ban.
Now he's released and he can leave the country, or he's just some kind of house arrest.
It just says he's been released. He probably might be on some sort of house arrest. I think the details have yet to be actually reported. They've just been simply, he said, "I'm out, I'm free," typed on Twitter or something. "I'm back, guys."
They made it clear what's going to happen to his family when they released him. Okay, you're going to keep quiet now, right? Maybe you will, maybe you won't.
I mean, it must be tough to be from a place that you love, right? Like the culture and the country, but the government hates you, and you can't express your love for your own country because you will be put in prison. And you don't want to leave because you feel like if you leave your country, right, you're abandoning them to their own torments. It's a tough spot to sit in as a politically active cultural director.
Dictatorships suck. But I guess that's it. Dictatorships suck. That's my editorial.
Anything else for you? I think you had a third story, right?
Up there. U.S. inflation slows for the 7th straight month. U.S. inflation likely slowed again last month, with the latest sign that consumer price increases are becoming less of a burden on American households. What is inflation, by the way? People know what inflation is. Inflation is a measurement of the increase in costs on this consumer price index. There's this thing called a consumer price index. And when it goes up, that's called inflation. And when it goes down, it's called deflation. And they measure it every month. Consumer prices are expected to have risen 6.2 in January over the previous 6 months, down from 6.5 in over a year in surge in December. It would amount to the 7th straight slowdown. On a monthly basis, though, inflation is expected to jump 0.5% from December to January, according to a survey of economics who can talk, unlike me, by the data provider fact sheet. This would be much faster than the 0.01% uptick in November, from November to December. And again, my mouth isn't working. It's not working! I need to talk louder. Am I talking loud enough? Am I louder than the music this time? The music's got to go down, maybe.
Or yeah, I think you just, when you talk about very serious things, you start kind of mumbling and it gets quieter. Yeah.
I got to do like Howard Cosell or something,
Yeah. You have to do a character.
Like this. All right. In this day in history, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, where Al Capone took out Bugsy Moran's gang, or Bugs Moran, not Bugsy, not to be confused with Bugsy Siegel. Bugs Moran, who apparently looked like bugs, or he liked eating bugs or something. 7 victims were shot, lined up against the wall. Adam Heyer, Frank Gusenberg, Pete Gusenberg, John May, Al Weinschek, and James Clark, as well as a visitor, Dr. Reinhard H. Schwimmer. And they were all massacred in a garage at 2122 North Clark Street in Chicago in 1929.
Speaking of Valentine's Day, which is today, happy Valentine's Day to all the people who are celebrating, and happy Friendship Day to all the people who are not celebrating. I believe that's what they call it, like Friendship or Single Day, or any people who aren't in long-term relationships, who have a partner to share. They usually share with friends. They have a Friends Day where 5 of them go hang out and watch a movie together. Have fun doing that. I like that part of Valentine's Day myself. The reason to hang out with people and spend time with people. Not the capitalism. I'm not a fan of that. But speaking of capitalism, because of the gas problems in the Netherlands, a lot of bouquets this year for Valentine's Day will not be using Dutch flowers. Dutch flowers are actually one of the highest exports of the Netherlands. They make a lot of money exporting tulips and other flower-like things outside of the country. But due to gas prices, a lot of growers were unable to actually grow any flowers in their greenhouses this year.
Oh,
in October, the Greenhouse Horticulture Nederlands reported that expected that 8% of companies would not make it to the end of the year, with only 3 bankruptcies in floriculture sector in 2022. Entrepreneurs in greenhouse horticulture are very creative at finding solutions, explains a spokesperson from the Greenhouse Horticulture Nederlands. According to Michael van Schie of Royal Flora Holland, the consequences of the reduced production are still noticeable because many growers only start producing again when temperatures rise. And the temperature has been quite cold, as I'm sitting here now, quite cold for the past couple months. Very chilly. I think we had one warm week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and now it's back to being chilly again with frost on the flowers. So.
Well, what greenhouses?
Yep. But the greenhouses can't afford to run because it's too expensive.
Too expensive. So are they exporting them, or are they just not making them at all, growing them at all?
I believe most people, when it's export good like this, they want to export it 100% to make some money back, right? Because you can make more money from exports. I think they're barely saving any flowers for, like, not exports, right? For what is it called? For local consumers. So now, more people are actually importing flowers from other places so that they can, probably from cheaper, right? Like Dutch flowers are so expensive that they can just export theirs and sell them for a premium and then import cheaper flowers from somewhere else and then sell them to the local consumer. That might be what's happening.
Or not buy flowers at all because there's none available.
Yeah.
Don't get high in your own supply.
Yeah.
Just sell it to the other folks.
Any other small news for you?
Well, in this day in history also, YouTube. 2005, we registered as a company, as a website. So YouTube, happy birthday, happy 18th birthday.
All right. That has been Allison.
You're old enough to vote.
Sorry?
And YouTube's old enough to vote. It's 18.
Oh, nice. Well, companies are people, as we know.
Corporations are people.
And that has been Allison with Before Coffee here on Tuesday, February 14th.
And here where it is also February 14th by an amazing coincidence.
And your name is?
Roger Stewart, the U.S. correspondent who is living in the past.
All right, we'll hope to see you tomorrow for another exciting rendition of the daily news with Before Coffee. See you next time.
Bye. About 6 hours in the past.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.